The Smith & Wesson L frame came about towards the end of the 20th century. It was an effort to address the weaknesses of the K frame by merging features of the larger N frame into the greatest hits version of their Magnum lineup, resulting in the Model 686 and Friends. It's described as a mid-size frame, but it's really only mid-size in the way that a finback whale is the mid-size between a blue whale and an orca whale. It's got a thicker frame, thicker cylinder, and a barrel with a full underlug on it. It controls better than a K frame, it's more carryable than an N frame, and it could eat magnums all day, just like your mom. Its only crime was premiering right at the dawn of Beretta and Glock. My first revolver was an L frame, and it really set me down the path of the wheel gun. So what do I love about this model? Well, to start things off, if you watched my Model 66 review, I had some grievances with their quality control and their trigger grittiness and weight. This one, right out of the box, came out perfect. The trigger was heavy, but it was smooth. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I popped a lighter rebound spring in it and it became ideal. I got really lucky with this trigger, and today it's so smooth and clean, I'll never fall for the Python marketing legends. Maybe. Back to quality control. When I handled this in the shop, I went over it with a figurative fine-tooth comb and checked for over-torque barrel, cylinder gap, alignment, timing, cosmetic issues. There were none. Somehow this slipped through Smith & Wesson's quality control and came out perfect. Wow, I bought a gun and it wasn't broken out of the box. How remarkable, Smith & Wesson. Moving on to features, owing to its extra thick nature, the cylinder is so thick it can accommodate a 7th round. When you're going to 5 or 6 to 7, I consider that substantial. However, this is both a blessing and a curse. The cylinder on this 686 is 1.56 inches in diameter, or 1.5 1911s. Although the rest of the item is thin, the cylinder is going to be the part that will contribute to belt bulge and maybe a printing issue. In my case, I'm fairly broad-chested with a flatter abdomen, so the curtain effect of my shirt obscures it, but I'm always self-conscious about it, and I wear a large shirt over it as opposed to my usual medium. L frames actually carried much easier when I was a little chubbier, so happy Fat Fuck Friday. My favorite speed loaders are the Safariland Comp 2s. They are lightning fast to use and not demanding of your manual dexterity. Safariland does not produce these for 7 shots. Instead, you're relegated to something like this HKS 587-A. This is my less preferred method of release by twist knob. You get him in there and you twist the knob. Simple in premise, but when you're trying to pull this off quickly, you're gonna wish you could just shove him in there like you can on a Comp 2. All L frame loaders are naturally going to be bigger than a K frame loader as well, and the L frame loader for me is just right there on the cusp of being too bulky and distracting for me to comfortably slip into my pocket like I can with a loader sized for a K frame. And yes, there are push loaders out there for 7 shots, such as the Speed Bees, but unless you're willing to carry a Speed Bees in a cushioned, climate-controlled safe with you everywhere, there's no good way to carry those. I'll do a speed loader tier list comparison sometime in the future. So when it comes to 7 shots versus 6, I think a question worth asking yourself is whether you value having 18% more firepower or being able to reload quickly and more securely. For me, I just pack a Neomag Rask for a reload with this particular revolver. Moving on, since this frame is thicker, it has a recoil dampening effect. There's a lot of extra metal on this that helps keep it in line when using those spicy 357 Magnum loads. And even though I don't care for 38 Special, I won't deny it's a lot of fun to pop like those 38s like they're BBs out of this thing. So if you're recoil shy, but not big gun shy, this might be a worth a look to you. As one of Smith's staples over the years since their introduction, I think this probably has the biggest aftermarket for parts and accessories out of maybe every other 357 Magnum revolver out there. You will not struggle to find grips, sights, replacement parts, loaders, etc. They're all over the place. Finally, I think the last thing I'm going to praise about this 686 is the aesthetics. With its full underlug and taller frame, it just looks really mean. It's got this capable charisma to it. I just get all emotional when I open up the safe and I see it there. This model has an unfluted cylinder, which I kind of go both ways on. I think I prefer a fluted cylinder, but when the light hits it just right, it looks pretty badass. And even though I do prefer a satin matte stainless steel finish, the polished finish makes cleaning very simple. Alright, I've told you all about what I love and adore about this thing, so what don't I like? Well, there's really not going to be much to say. A lot of the things I dislike about it are just differences from other features from other revolvers in Smith's lineup. And like I said, despite the company's poor quality control, this one managed to get through with an excellent trigger as well. So I think I might have gotten really lucky with this one. There are a couple actual grievances I do have it, but they're pretty nitpicky, honestly. First of all, there's the lock. It's never going away, guys. It's been like 30 years. It's never going away. So let's just move on. Second, I want to talk about the weight because it's a bigger, bulkier version of the K-frame. Even though Smith themselves classify this as a medium frame, this is right on the edge of being too big to carry, referring to the belt bulge we talked about earlier. This is a big heckin' gun, guys. Make no mistake, it's not going to disappear into the waistband and go unnoticed all day. Next up, this uses an ejector rod locking bolt. This rod can be bent, which will cause trigger pull issues and timing problems, and despite using the ball bearing lockup on their new K-frames, which is objectively superior, we're still using locking bolts and making the ejector rod a critical point of operation rather than just an ejector rod. I don't expect this to actually get damaged, but it is there. We have a better way of doing it, so why not extend that to the rest of their lineup? I guess it pissed the FUDs off. It took us up until 2023 to get optics-ready revolvers. I think we stopped listening to these people. Anyway, another thing I'm really not crazy about is the charge holes are just holes in the cylinder. There's no chamfering or anything else to make it load easier. It's just a 90-degree angle hole. For as much as this costs, it'd be nice to see a simple chamfer on this. So, is the 686 the definitive double-action combat revolver? I think so. It's built like a tank, is simple to use, and it's just mean-looking. In a world where no one is scared of Glocks anymore, maybe it's worthwhile to take a walk back in time. So thanks for watching, and remember to walk your cat.